Modern scholars usually have a specific way of treating ancient texts like the Mahabharata. They tend to categorize them as religious allegory, elaborate stories designed to teach moral lessons rather than record literal history. Then there is the specific legend of Dwarka. The texts describe how Lord Krishna, seeking to protect his people after 17 consecutive attacks, ordered the construction of a massive, well-planned city right on the shores of the Arabian Sea. But the story ends in a catastrophe. A curse leads to a brutal internal war that tears the dynasty apart, and shortly after, the ocean rises up and swallows the city whole. For thousands of years, the lack of physical evidence meant historians viewed this drowned metropolis as a religious fable, a poetic explanation for a lost golden age. That changed in 1983, when a team of divers searching the depths of the Arabian Sea found the foundations of an urban center. Miles below the surface, they discovered high stone walls, roads, and statues that didn't fit any known map. Finding a sprawling city at the bottom of the ocean shifts the focus from spiritual interpretation to physical investigation. It suggests that these ancient verses might actually be a literal record of the past. The first test is time. The ancient texts claim Dwarka was built during the Dwapara Yuga. To link these ruins to the legend, the archaeological data has to match the era described in the Mahabharata. Researcher Dr. Narahari Achar looked for answers in the sky. He tracked the specific planetary alignments and asteroid movements described within the verses of the epic. By running those astronomical observations through modern computer models, Dr. Achar identified a specific window. The planetary data points to the Mahabharata War occurring in the year 3126 BCE. Marine archaeologists then looked to the seabed, extracting core samples from the underwater stone structures to perform carbon dating tests. The laboratory results showed that the age of the underwater stones aligns closely with that 3126 BCE timeline. When isotopic data from ocean rocks matches the astronomical records written thousands of years ago, the epic begins to function as a verifiable historical timeline. The second test involves the physical footprint of the city. The Bhagavata Purana claims that Lord Krishna was granted a landmass measuring exactly 12 yojanas for the construction of Dwarka. Between 1983 and 1990, marine archaeologist Dr. S.R. Rao led an underwater expedition to map the absolute boundaries of the submerged remains. When the team surveyed the extent of the ruins, the area matched the 12 yojana measurement described in the ancient texts. Further exploration within this grid revealed a high concentration of heavy stone anchors across the seabed. Finding a site that matches the text's specific measurements and contains the hardware of a major port suggests the writers of the Purana were describing a physical, high-traffic maritime hub. Then there is the story of the city's end. The myths describe a violent civil war within the Yadav dynasty, fueled by a series of divine curses that turned the population against itself. According to the text, the warrior Arjun arrived to evacuate the surviving women and children just as the sea began to move. The Mahabharata claims that as soon as the city was empty, massive waves struck the shore, engulfing the entire city in a single moment. This description of an instantaneous flood contrasts with typical geological models, which show coastal cities being lost slowly to rising sea levels over hundreds or thousands of years. While the exact speed of the water is still debated, the physical existence of a drowned city confirms the central tragedy recorded in the legend. The investigation into these ruins is far from over. The Archaeological Survey of India continues excavations to determine the site's full extent. Today, the area is divided between the modern coastal city of Dwarka and the island of Dwarka, which many believe was the original home of Krishna's family. Historically, the timeline of urban civilization in India has centered on the foundations of the Harappan and Mohenjo-Daro cultures. But the existence of an urban port dating to 3126 BCE shifts that timeline. It suggests that advanced engineering and organized maritime trade were already established millennia before the rise of the cities we once considered the first. The ruins of Dwarka serve as a reminder that ancient epics are rarely just stories. They are often the surviving blueprints of a history we are only just beginning to uncover.